everybody. Okay, this is take 2. But that's okay. Whatever happened in the last attempt to do the video wasn't meant to go up anyway. So what has perpetuated this video? I wasn't going to do this video. And then when I woke up this morning, the universe was like, all these thoughts were coming into my head, and the universe was like, Pam, we don't share this stuff with you for you to keep it. You're supposed to share it with others. Okay. So here you go. Oh, sorry. But what started it was a post that my daughter did on Facebook a couple days ago, where she's like, how did it get to this point where, moms are supposed to work a 9-to-5 job, drop your kid off at daycare by 8 o'clock or whatever it is. Anyway, long story short, the mom is supposed to do all this stuff, burn her sick days to take care of a kid, your kid, work, then go home and fix dinner, wash clothes, clean the house, do the grocery shopping, all of these kinds of things. And it's like, how are you supposed to do this? And how did it get to this point? Meanwhile, you're both working and you can't afford anything. And I don't know if that part's in there, but that I added, if it's not in there. So, and my sister responded, and I said, welcome to the mind control and the corruption. And my sister responded to me and said, Pam, that's BS. Literally, she told me that's BS. She's like, it's not mind control and corruption. That's what mothers do. Mothers are supposed to take care of their kids and yada, yada, yada. And I get that. However, I'm going to get to my point in a minute. Then my mother responds and says, I raised 4 children and I did okay, and you will too. This was her reply to my daughter. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, because you stayed home. So back to how this whole thing, where I say it's mind control and corruption. And I'm going to explain that. Because when you open your mind to the fact that there is more than what we've been told, and things are not what they seem, more and more and more stuff will come to you. And I told my husband last night, I said, it is literally painful to me to watch so many people just be completely oblivious. And they don't want to hear what you have to say about it. It's like back when COVID happened. These same people that just replied to my daughter didn't want to hear my point of view, that they were being brainwashed and they were being controlled for an agenda. So they all went and got jabbed. Thankfully, my daughter didn't. But it's like, anyway. And again, they refused to listen to me. So, but how I say it's mind control and it's the corruption, when you go back in time, this hasn't just happened. Okay, now it has accelerated drastically. I mean, and we see the acceleration of how everything is playing out right now. It's like, oh my God, things are changing by the day. Okay, so you go back 100, 150 years, go back even further than that to Adam and Eve, okay, which I'm not going to get into what Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden and all that was. But when you look at the depiction of it in the Bible, it was Eve's fault that everything fell to pieces because she ate from the tree of knowledge. And then she told Adam to do it. Okay, so it became the woman's fault at that point. Run that forward through time, and it has gone from that to it's women in the Bible are told to be submissive to your husband. So some people take that as women are property to men. Women are less than men, which is not the case. So, and then you have women's rights. You had these women, because they were told, men would come home and say, well, what did you do all day? I went out and worked my ass off. What did you do? You sat here all day at home and played with the kids. So women were made to feel less than, or like their job wasn't as important as men's. And understanding everybody has divine masculine and divine feminine in them, it's just typically the woman is more divine feminine and the man is more divine masculine. But you both have both. I mean, you all have both. So they each have an equal role to play in life. Because back when, before the Bible was brought here and before the Christianity and their mindset was brought here on the woman is supposed to be submissive and all of these things. And if you heal people, if you do what, you're deemed a witch. And so the women were like, okay, to feel equal to a man, I need to go get a job. So then you had women's rights come out. So women were expected to go get a job. Now women have rights, just like men. You go get a job. Then you had where the money was not backed by gold anymore. It was there is no asset backed money at this point. So they're just printing money, causing inflation. Okay, because now you've got women in the workforce and women's rights, which I will tell you, there should be no women's rights. There should be no gay rights. There should be no black rights. There should be no anything rights, because everybody is equal. Nobody's better than anybody else. I don't care what color, what race, what gender you are just as important as everybody else in the world. So there's no, everybody has a right. But, so then, okay, so you've got women in the workforce, which has become the standard mindset that women have to go get a job. So then, and money, the inflation has gone like through the roof. So you have to, both parents have to work to now survive and make a living. So who's raising the kids? Nobody. Daycare, somebody other than the parents, the TV. I mean, how, and I'm not judging because I was not the perfect parent. Okay. But how many parents give their kid an iPad, give their kid a TV, go watch TV, leave me alone, let me fix dinner, let me do whatever. And the TV is what's raising the children. So I didn't, and I will tell you, I didn't do that with my daughter because we didn't have iPads when she was growing up. We didn't have all, and I told her, I said, I'm not buying you all these video games. You can go outside and play with your friends, you know? So anyway, but you've got a society that has been mind controlled to think that women have to go get a job, because staying home raising a child or children and taking care of the house, it's like you're less than. You're made to feel like dirt because, oh God, you're a housewife? How degrading. I will tell you, my husband came up, he told me this scenario that he's read somewhere where a man was like, God, I'm tired of working. I work my ass off all day, every day. I come home. My wife is doing nothing but staying home. I want her job. I want to stay home and let her go work. And God was like, okay. So he shifted them. Now, I'm not talking sex change, so don't even go there. He shifted them. The guy got to stay home all day and take care of the kids. The kid got sick. He's throwing up everywhere. He had diapers to change. He had meals to fix. He had clothes to wash. He had a house to clean. He had all of these things going on. The kids running around. At the end of the day, he tells God, I don't want any part of this anymore. I want to go back to being the man. I want to go back to taking care of or going back to my job. And God was like, okay, but we'll do that in 9 months because last night you got pregnant. I love it. So each job is equally important. And when you go back to the Native Americans before we got here, before the white man came over here and destroyed that whole society, the women took care of the kids, the house, the teepee, whatever. They took care of each other. Because that's what the divine feminine is. It's the nurturer. It's the healer. It's the intuitive. All of that was made to feel wrong by the divine masculine, who is the provider and the protector. So again, they both have their jobs are just as important as the other one. So over time, again, this didn't happen like overnight, but over time, women have been geared and taught that you need to go get a job or you're less than. You need to go make money. So, to the point, I had a friend that lived with me for a while, and she had 2 daughters. And while she was going through her divorce and all of that kind of stuff, I told her, I was like, you know what, just take this time. I got the bills covered. I got the house covered. You stay home, take care of your kids, and it'll be fine. So while I was at work, she took it upon herself. She would clean my house. She would, because she wanted to do something to contribute. She would clean my house. I'd come home. She'd have dinner ready. It was amazing. I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. But again, it takes both sides to make something work. Meanwhile, she got to stay home with her kids and take care of her kids. So then, sorry, cat jumped down. Then she goes to court, and the judge is like, because she moved out of my house and moved into a nice little house on a farm. She was told, okay, I tell you what, you take care of the 5 therapy horses that we had, which every one of them had medical something that had to be taken care of every day. Every day. So you take care of the farm, and in exchange, we'll cover your rent and your utilities. And she agreed to that. It was great. So she goes to court for the divorce. And the judge is like, and this is a woman judge. She's like, you need to go get a job. And my friend was like, but I have a job. It's doing all this other stuff and it's paying the bills. I just need child support to help with like groceries and stuff and the medical stuff. And that she was made to feel less than because she didn't go out and get a job, which meant she would have to put her youngest daughter, in daycare and pay that expense. I'm like, where does this make any sense? And of course, me being me, I told her, I said, I'd tell the judge, I would. You know what? Tell that whole system, pucker up and kiss your ass. And don't go get a job. I mean, meanwhile, she was studying to be a health coach. I'm like, that's what you enjoy doing. Do what you enjoy doing and take care of your kids. And meanwhile, the house is taken care of because she's working her ass off on this farm. I saw what she had to do. It's not an easy job, feeding and taking care of 5 horses and a whole farm every day. But it's the mindset that you have to go get a job outside of the house and put your kids in daycare. And it's so wrong. It's so wrong. So then you fast forward, you back up to women go into the workforce, okay? Now, because and you have to work all these crazy, insane hours to make ends meet, the government says, okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll help you out. We'll create fast food. So fast food comes into the equation because it's easy. That becomes the new norm because, thank you, God, we've got fast food. I don't have to worry about fixing a nutritious meal every day. Then you go into processed food. There are people that can't fix a meal if it doesn't come out of a box and go in the microwave. And I'm not judging. I'm just saying it's not healthy. Which now you've got crap that's being put in our food that other countries have banned. Other countries won't even have this stuff in their country because it's so unhealthy. But our country puts all this crap in your food. Which, okay, now the obesity rate in the United States is through the roof. The health has declined drastically. There are more obese children than ever because children are doing nothing but eating processed fast food and sitting on the couch watching a video game. So then what does that do? That causes health issues. So now you go to the doctor and they give you drugs. You have health issues, we'll give you a drug. And that'll cause probably some side effects, so we'll give you another drug to counter the side effects. Do you see? I just told my husband, I said, it's like that scenario where you take wild pigs, and I'm not calling us pigs. You take wild pigs and you capture them and you put them in this big pen. And then over time, you make the fence smaller and smaller and smaller. And the pigs just come to, okay, they're not arguing. They're just getting used to a more confined space until the fact that you've got the fence so tight that they don't have room to move. Then, because they're not built and designed to be on top of each other and be so confined, now you have stressed pigs, you have angry pigs, they're fighting each other, they're biting, they're killing each other. That's where we are. They have interjected all of this mind control nonsense to get us divided, to get us enslaved, to get us sick. And meanwhile, they're making all the money. It's part of the corruption. The mind control that they have played on us infuriates me like I can't tell you. The 3D part of me, I don't even want to tell you what I want to do to these people that have come up with this nonsense. Because it's not nice. The 5D part of me just steps back and says, you know what? That's not part of my existence anymore. I choose not to live in that nonsense, because I don't live in that nonsense. I've backed out of the matrix. I'm not part of it anymore. Do I see it? Yes. Does it still irritate the snot out of me sometimes? Yes. Because I see the people that just don't get it. But this has happened over many, many, many years, and it has been a slow progression. And it's just like, and I just told my husband, I said, it's just like, I remember back in school, well, no, I guess it was after I got out of school. They came up with this politically correct. It's like, no, I'm one to buck the system. In case you have not figured that out yet. If you're new, I'm Pam. I am a headstrong Aries. I am like a no-nonsense person. I tell it like it is. I do not say anything to intentionally hurt your feelings or insult you or offend you. If it does, that's something you need to work on. That's something you need to look at. But so everybody had to become politically correct because you were going to offend somebody else. Then that went into, you've got, and nobody said the fence was closing in, okay? Then you've got gay people. And I'm not knocking gay people. If that's your choice, that's okay. It's not my choice, but that's okay. But they want to get in your face and tell you you are wrong for not being gay or not supporting them. Why do I need to? You do you, boo-boo. And then they go, and then because that was just, okay. Now you went through, a couple years ago, you had the whole thing where my daughter doesn't identify as a girl. She identifies as a boy today. So we can't have gender specific bathrooms. So all these, instead of saying, well, that's your daughter's issue. That's your issue. Keep your kid at home. No, we can't do that because somebody's going to get their feelings hurt. So we have to go through and spend thousands of dollars changing all these bathrooms to non-gender specific bathrooms. And it's like, really? Now you've got transgenderism and you've got people wanting to perform sex changes on their children. And you've got government saying it's okay and you will be arrested if you stop it. It's like, oh my God, wake up. At what point is it going to be enough? And you've got kids that don't understand consequence. It's like all these people that they want to shave their head and do all this nonsense because Kamala didn't win. They're all young people because they haven't been taught, you know what? You don't always get your way. It's okay. You're not going to, the end of the world isn't going to happen. But they were sold the agenda. They listened to media. They listened to the mind control that the media spins. Did you ever stop and think that the media was so geared to Kamala? They hated Trump. They have hated Trump from the word go because they knew they couldn't control him. And that's a whole nother topic. But it plays into this whole mess. So yes, when I say what my daughter asked is not the way it's supposed to be. It's not what it was ever meant to be. Somebody. I don't care if it goes back to that movie. What was that movie? Mr. Mom? Where he stayed home and she went and got a job. I don't care who goes and gets the job. I don't care who stays home. It doesn't mean you're less than. You're performing an equally as important role at home raising the kids as you are the one out in the workforce. It's the messed up mindset that, because I know a lot of men that look down on women because they're housewives or they stay home. They work from home. People look at you, not so much anymore, but they look at you like it's a bad thing to work from home because you didn't go get a job. No, that's part of the enslavement. That's part of the mind control nonsense that we've been geared to think that you got to go work for somebody. Personally, if that works for you, great. Personally, that's not me. Personally, I would rather work for me. Not, and that's where everybody's supposed to be. We're supposed to get to a point. We're not supposed to get to a point. We should have never gotten to this point to begin with. Everybody has a strength. Everybody has a gift, a talent, a desire, a hobby, a something. You're supposed to work that. And when you work your passion, you never work a day in your life. That's where you're supposed to be. You're supposed to be happy. And not gnarling and gnashing teeth with a coworker doing a job that you absolutely hate just to bring in a paycheck. Because that's the other part of the mind control, is to make you think that you have to go get a job because all you can afford is this. The universe is abundant. The universe will provide. But all that has been washed out of our mindset. When you step back and you start looking, and when you start piecing the pieces of the puzzle together, it's sickening. It is absolutely sickening that we have allowed, and people want to complain about the system. We allowed it because we got lazy. We got complacent. We were all about fast and convenient. Look what fast and convenient has done for us. It has made us the unhealthiest country with the most obese people in the world. And the sickest, well, that goes back to unhealthy, but people are so stressed because everybody's working, because you can't afford anything. Well, thank you to, again, the corruption. It's all part of their plan. Because when they have you in fear and so stressed, you're not even willing to think outside the box. Because all you can do is function from this moment to this moment, paycheck to paycheck. And oh my God, how I'm going to make it through tomorrow. Crap, I got to make it through today. When you start pulling out of that shit, your life gets so much better. It takes an adjustment period, yes. And again, this does not come from judgment. I was there. But I'm not there anymore. And I'm here to help you, help other people. So if you're stuck, like, how am I going to get out of this? That's what I'm here for. You know, my husband told me, well, he told me a while back. He's like, I used to think, he said, I didn't see things at the level that you do. He said, but now I understand where you're coming from. And he told me the other day, because he has seen where Elon Musk is going back after Soros, which needs to happen. Soros needs to go down. Him, Fauci, Gates, all of them just need to go bye-bye. They need to take a nice trip to the spa, along with many others. And that is coming out, thankfully. Some people will see it. Some people will still choose to think it's nonsense. But when I met him, I was telling him how corrupt our government was and how corrupt things were. And he told me the other day, he said, I thought you were one of those conspiracy theorists. He said, but now I see what you're talking about. He said, I see what you were saying, and it's true. And more people, thankfully, are waking up to the fact of the corruption and the mind control. And as my sister put it, the bullshit. I'm not the one spewing bullshit. I'm the one telling you the truth. It's the media that's spinning the bullshit because it meets the agenda of the corrupt side. That's where they're making their money. Again, the more fear they can keep you in, the more stress they can keep you in, the more debt they can keep you in, they control you. With every one of those is a string that they've got tied to you. It's controlling you like a puppet. Believe me, don't believe me. But step back and look at it. And you will see, if you choose to, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Only when we wake up to this fact, only when more of us, because a lot of us are waking up or have woken up to this fact, only when more people wake up to this nonsense and say, you know what? No, enough is enough. And that's why they don't want Trump in office. Because the media has spun this, oh, he's taking women's rights away and he's doing all this nonsense. No, he's not. He's bringing things back into alignment where they're freaking supposed to be in the first place. But we allowed it to go haywire. Transgender people, if you want to have your own community, go have your own community. But leave the children alone. You have no place telling children that they're supposed to go have a sex change. God never made a mistake. He sure did not start with any of the children. They came out the way that they are supposed to come out. If you came out as a boy, you're supposed to be a boy. If you came out as a girl, you're supposed to be a girl. Now, how you live your life is completely up to you. Do not mangle your body for nonsense. But it's part of the agenda. Because once you mangle your body, you cannot reproduce. It's all about population control. The same people that have brainwashed you on all this other stuff that I've told you about so far are in it for population control. That's why COVID happened. They wanted to eliminate part of the population, and they did. They succeeded. Now, if we can brainwash people to think that they're supposed to go have sex changes, and be on drugs for the rest of their life to alter what God did, they won't reproduce. And when you bring AI into the equation, and let it run amok. It has a purpose, yes, but when it runs amok, the human population will cease to exist. That's not why I came here. Because when you can't reproduce anymore, where's the next human come from? Anyway, and the AI is making us even more lazy. I mean, it's again, it serves a purpose, but when you have kids that resort to Chat GPT to write their essays, they're not having to think about how. I can't tell you how many people can't read, can't write, can't speak properly because they've been pushed. Leave no child behind. You know, God forbid we hurt a child's feelings because they failed a grade. No, it's not failing a grade. It's just, you know what, sweetie, you need a little more time to learn these concepts. It's okay. We're here to help you. Don't make them feel like they're a loser. But you know what? If you want to screw off and you want to just not get it, that's on you. That's okay. But these are the consequences that will continue to play out for the rest of your life. So it needs to go back to an economy where people can. I remember when I was a kid, my mom told me then, she's like, we used to think if your dad could bring in $20,000 a year, we'd be rich. 20,000, and you think about it. I told my husband, I said, the same trees that grew that you build houses in back then, it doesn't cost anymore to grow a tree. The tree is what it is. Why does it cost more to go buy this tree now? Because they can raise the price of it. And because people want to make more money. It's all about the dollar. It's all about inflation. It's all about greed. People, I drive down the road and look at these massive freaking houses. It's like, why do you need that much house? Because I can. Why don't you live in, now, if that's really truly what makes you happy, but most of those people aren't happy. You know? Why don't you live in something that makes you happy instead of trying to keep up with everybody else and use your money to help others less fortunate than you? And you know what I was told when I said that the last time? Because the government only allows you to donate X amount of dollars before they give you in order to take a tax break. If you don't donate more than that, you don't get a tax break. Okay, who gives two shits? That's not about the point is helping other people. You know, I don't worry about how much tax break I get. That doesn't even come into my existence. If I have it and can give it, I'm going to give it. I don't care what Uncle Sam thinks. I don't care what my next door neighbor thinks. That's the way it's supposed to be. You've got multimillionaires living in these huge estates. Why? Because they need a tax break. Because the government will tax them on their income if they don't have all this big ass house that they don't need. Meanwhile, you've got people in this country starving and are homeless. You know, maybe instead of building your mansion, you build your house and then you go build a community for other people to live. Gee, what a novel idea. You still have real estate, but you're helping other people. Anyway, all of these things, it's like, it's heartbreaking. But by the same time, I step back and I don't put blame on anybody because I was part of the reason it got to this point. But I have woken up, and so have a lot of you. Don't be quiet. Just like I said, I wasn't going to post this video because I thought, you know what? It's going to cause waves. It's going to piss people off. I'm not here to piss you off. I'm here to help wake you up. I'm here to help improve our situation and get out of the mind control, the limiting beliefs that we've been sold our whole lives and beyond. You know, that's why I did the ebook on liberating your consciousness, getting out of the limiting beliefs and the mind control, the messed up mindset, and how to become sovereign and become who you were meant to be, who you are. So if you have questions, reach out to me. If you're starting to see these things come together, I mean, the people making the money aren't most of us. It's the people that are controlling you, that you're allowing to control you by feeding you the crap that you're putting in your body. I went to an office the other day and I was like, oh my God. I had to go into this office, and while I was waiting, this, I guess, secretary, whatever, this woman came in with a bag for McDonald's for 3 people. I'm like, I just wanted to scream and say, do you realize what you're eating? And I told my husband, I said, the ironic thing, all of those women were overweight. It's sad, but it's their choice. You know, you have a choice. You can continue in the situation that you're in, or you can choose to change it and step out of the matrix, the brainwashing, the agenda, the corruption. I can help you get there, but it's your choice. My family chooses to stay in the corruption and in the mind control and in the mind messed up mindset. I can't, it's not for me to fix. I can only control me. I can help you to get to a better place. So I hope this helps. I hope this makes sense. I know it was a lot to digest. I know it was a lot of information, and there's probably a lot that I left out. But like I said, when you start piecing these things together, when you step back and when you open your mind to one possibility, even one that I said, the universe will have a way to bring more and more and more into your existence. And again, it's just, it's not watching TV. It's not even watching YouTubes. It's just the God, source, creator, universe, whatever you want to call it, opening parts of your brain to help you realize and remember, oh my God. Oh yeah, So I love you guys. I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you. Wake you up on this journey. I can't do it for you. I can only impart what knowledge that I've been granted with. It's your choice what you do with it. But again, if you've been imparted with some of this knowledge, I don't know all of it. There are pieces that I'm learning, but I don't know yet. If you know something that I've said or haven't said, please share it. But not from the agenda standpoint, not from the limiting belief, mind control. It's time that stuff stops. So anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. I'm sending you lots of love and many blessings, and we will talk soon.